This billionaire tests his black maid with a deceptive sleep. What happens next is insane. The mansion loomed like a black shadow against the evening sky, its windows twinkling like the eyes of a sleeping giant. Inside, a game was brewing, a secret hidden behind polished mahogany furniture and expensive art. Marcus Wilkins, a billionaire known for his eccentricities, had always toyed with life's darker shades. He was notorious for pushing boundaries. His latest challenge. A test so twisted it sent chills down the spine. He would slip his maid, Zara, into an unreal world for one night, a deceptive sleep filled with shadows and danger. Zara, a young woman with an energy that lit up the dullest of days, had no idea what was being planned for her. She lived her life with stoic grace amid the luxurious chaos of Marcus's home. But the night of the test, everything felt different. She could sense the air thickening with something unnameable. As she stepped into the lavish parlor, an uneasy weight settled in her chest. Marcus observed her from the shadows, a glint of mischief dancing in his eyes, his fingers drumming on the table, each tap a sinister echo. The moment came. It was just a simple glass of wine, a seemingly innocent act, but Marcus was no ordinary host. Inside that glass lay a concoction, a few drops of something extraordinary. What would it do? Would it send her into a dream, or a nightmare? As Zara sipped, laughter and the clink of glasses faded into a distorted hush, her eyelids growing heavy, the world around her swirling into a haze. The laughter echoed as if from a great distance, fading like smoke. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. And just like that, she was gone. As her head hung, limp upon her chest, the clock ticked louder, each second riddled with suspense. What lay behind those closed eyelids? Was it peace or a plunge into darkness? Marcus leaned closer, a mixture of excitement and dread washing over him. What would he uncover in her dreams? The boundaries between reality and his manipulation tightened around them both. A distant shriek echoed through the halls, slicing through the thick silence. It felt alive, a scream birthed from a place of raw fear. It was then he realized she wasn't just a pawn in his game, she was an unwitting participant in something much larger, a shadow of mysteries beyond his calculations. As he paced, a chilling thought gripped him. What if she discovered the truth? What if her soul fought back against the horrors he unleashed? The night stretched into an eternity, thick with tension and riddled with questions. Marcus's heart raced. Was he prepared for the truth that lay behind the veil of Zara's dreams? What lurked in the depths of her subconscious? He took a deep breath, holding on to a sliver of hope while dread coiled tightly in his gut. The only certainty now was that something would change and someone's waking would reveal reality's chilling secrets. Could he handle what he had unleashed? The darkness beckoned, and a whisper of fate hung tantalizingly in the air. What awaited them in the shadows? The silence deepened, wrapping around the mansion like a suffocating blanket. Marcus couldn't shake the unsettling feeling swelling in his chest. Zara's body lay motionless, and as shadows danced under the flickering candlelight, he felt a creeping dread. The familiar thrill of his twisted games began to morph into something unrecognizable, something darker. Moments turned into minutes. What would Zara dream about? His curiosity turned into paranoia. There was a fine line between amusement and terror, and he was inching dangerously close to the latter. A sharp gasp echoed from the parlor, and Marcus's heart skipped. He rushed toward her, a tempest of anticipation and dread whipping through him. Zara's eyes fluttered beneath closed lids, her breathing changing rhythm. Had his concoction invoked a tormented slumber? He crouched beside her, studying the contours of her face, the unease, the flickers of distress that played out in her expressions. He had watched her transform into a remarkable woman, yet tonight she seemed vulnerable, unshielded. Suddenly, her voice, soft and trembling, cut through the tension. "Marcus," it was a whisper, but it sliced through the silence, sending chills down his spine. Was she aware? Did she know? The shadows around him thickened, taunting him. "What did you do?" Her voice rose. Panic stirred, and his instincts screamed that whatever was happening within her dreams had now seeped into reality. Zara. He had crossed a line, and the game was spiraling out of his control. He needed to see inside her mind. Grind the wheel of his obsession or unleash chaos. There was no going back now. He reached for her hand, clasping it tightly. The warmth, the life squeezed through his fingers. The room began to shimmer around him. Voices, whispers, echoed like ghosts of memories. Images flickered behind his eyes as he felt an unseen force pull him in, drawing him into the deep. His grip on reality weakened as he entered the void between consciousness and dreams, searching desperately for her. What he witnessed sent a shiver straight to his soul. Dark apparitions twisted and writhed, shadows that resembled painful memories and untold fears. Was this the place where her hidden truths lurked? Each memory whispered peril, revealing fragments of pain, a childhood marked by struggle, betrayals, and ashes of lost hope. And then, amidst the chaos, he saw her. Apparent in her desperation, a tiny figure standing alone in a dimly lit corridor. Her expression was fierce, the determination in her eyes was stronger than any darkness that threatened her. She looked right at him, unblinking, and for a moment, their hearts connected across the void. Marcus felt something shift within him, a burning realization that perhaps he had underestimated her. Just like that, the connection shattered. The corridor ruptured, sending him flying into a tempest of nightmares. Hairs stood on end, dread coursed through him. His own fears rushed back, regret, greed, the very darkness he cultivated. The ground beneath him trembled, and his heart thundered. "Wake up!" He screamed into the storm, but it morphed into a deafening cacophony. Zara's shrieks of terror intertwined with haunting laughter, an echoing reminder of every twisted desire he had dared to unleash. But then, through the chaos, a single phrase resonated with clarity, a name, whispered like a spell. "It's time." Who was calling? And what awaited them on the other side? The grip of fear tightened. What lay ahead, beyond the veil of their dreams? Would they face the monsters together or be devoured by the shadows? The air bent and twisted around them, heavy with uncertainty, compelling them towards a fateful confrontation that neither had anticipated. The chaos swirled around Marcus, a vortex of memories and fears longing to consume him whole. The echoes of Zara's cries clawed at his sanity, blending with ominous whispers that seemed to rise straight from his subconscious. Shadows loomed larger, creeping closer, flickering just out of reach but always present. "Zara!" He shouted again, desperation tinging his voice. What if he didn't find her? What if she was lost to him forever amidst this darkness? He felt the weight of regret pressing down hard on his chest. This was more than a game now, it was a gamble with their very souls. The tempest calmed to an eerie hush, leaving only the sound of his breath, ragged and frantic. Each inhale burned in his lungs, every second steeped in dread. He couldn't let her face this alone. He had to find her, to pull her from the chasm she descended into. He forced himself to focus, to rally against the consuming darkness. With every ounce of willpower he summoned, he began moving through the haze, both unsteady and resolute. He willed himself to see beyond the shadows, to find the light that might still connect them, that tether that could pull them back to safety. Suddenly, a flicker of warmth ignited in the distant. Zara's presence, vibrant and fierce against the gloom. His heart thundered with renewed hope. He sprinted toward the light, intercepting it with outstretched hands. Just as he thought he could reach her, the corridor shifted once more, contorting like a serpentine creature. "Stop!" he yelled, desperation laced through his voice. "I'm coming for you." But the shadows coiled tighter, laughing with a sinister glee. Each step he took met with resistance, as if the very world around him resented his daring. He faltered, panting as fear dripped down his spine like ice. Then, her voice broke through, crystal clear amid the swirling darkness. "Marcus." It sounded so close, yet so far. "Help me." He froze, grappling with indecision. What was waiting for him beside her? Would it be salvation or destruction? But there was no choice, he couldn't abandon her now. As he fought against the tightening bonds of shadows, he recalled their shared moments, the laughter, the quiet connection that had grown through the strangest of circumstances. Each memory fueled his resolve as he charged forward into the thrumming darkness. "I won't let you drown," he roared, pushing back against the specters clawing at him. As he dove deeper into the gloom, he felt an electric charge ripple through the air, a warning crackling like static electricity. The shadows recoiled, revealing not only the fearful ghost of Zara but also an imposing figure behind her. A looming silhouette, draped in darkness, with an aura that seemed to resonate with pure malice. "Who dares interrupt?" It hissed, the voice one that echoed with the resonance of time itself, a twisted reflection of Marcus's own darker intentions. His heart plunged into his stomach. Fear tightened its grip. What was this creature, this manifestation of his worst past, preying on his regrets? The specter moved closer, swallowing the flickering light that connected him to Zara, blocking it layer by layer. "Marcus!" Zara screamed, her voice laced with terror. He felt panic engulf him. He couldn't waver now, he had to fight. "Get away from her!" he shouted, fury igniting within him. But with each word, the creature laughed, a sound like crackling fire and bone-chilling ice, a reminder that they weren't alone in this vile place. What would Marcus do? Would he stand against this embodiment of his darkest self, or would he succumb to the shadows that sought to unravel both him and Zara? "Join us," it beckoned, its voice hauntingly seductive. The shadows wrapped tighter, squeezing the air from his lungs. There was no path backward, the only way now was through. Would he embrace the chaos lurking in his heart, or would he surge forward into the unknown with Zara at his side? The choice loomed heavy in the air. Time hung in the balance. What awaited them in the depths of their own fears? And then it struck him, what if the true battle was not just for Zara's mind but also for his own? Could he really face the darkness that he had conjured? Would he risk it all to save her and himself? The shadows pulsed and trembled, as if eager for the confrontation ahead. Marcus steadied himself, the gravity of the situation crashing over him like a wave. Zara's eyes, wide and pleading, thrust him forward. The creature smirked, its features contorted in grotesque satisfaction, relishing the growing tension. "Do you feel it?" it whispered, voice slick with malice. "The weight of your own darkness. You can join her or abandon her. Either way, you'll learn the truth about yourself." Blood surged through Marcus's veins, his breath coming in sharp bursts. Fear threatened to undo him, but anger ignited a fire in his gut. He couldn't allow her cries, her despair, to echo beneath this cover of darkness. "I'll never abandon her," he yelled, each word crashing through the dreary silence. "Is that so?" The creature leaned in closer, its breath a cold fog that prickled Marcus's skin. "Then you must face the shadows that dwell within." In that moment, the ground beneath him shifted, opening up like a vast chasm. Marcus felt himself teetering on the edge, grappling for balance as memories began to flash before him, faces, choices, secrets he buried deep. His heart raced, each pulse a painful reminder of his regrets. Zara's scream sliced through the chaos. "Marcus!" He sprang forward, past the looming figure, fear illuminating his every step. With each stride, an unseen force clawed at him, grasping like desperate hands pulling him back into the abyss. Yet his desire to protect her surged, pushing him onward. The shadows swirled, forming grotesque faces, twisted versions of people he'd failed, friends, family, choices long gone. "No!" He threw his arms up as if to fend them off, though they melted into wisps of smoke, laughing with hollow voices. "I won't let you take me." It's too late, the creature hissed, now hovering just above Zara. She needs you to succumb. To join her in this endless fight. His vision blurred, fury and desperation blinding him to reason. His resolve crashed against the relentless tide of darkness. Zara's figure faded in and out of focus, a beacon dimming with each passing second. He could almost reach her, feel her warmth, but the chasm widened further still, a void thirsting for despair. Zara. His voice strained, a desperate call that echoed through the endless night. He could see her skin grow pale, the life in her eyes waning. I'm here. I'm coming. A burst of energy surged from deep within him. Igniting a fierce determination, he pulled forth the memories that shaped him, their laughter, the soft touches, the late-night conversations that resonated with tenderness. Each cherished moment became a step, erecting bridges across the vast darkness that sought to consume them. Fight with me, Zara. He shouted, determination coursing through him. We can do this together. As the shadows roared, a blinding light erupted from the depths of his heart. It surged through the darkness, illuminating the path ahead. The looming figure screeched, writhing in agony as the light pressed against it, stripping away its power. The essence of Marcus, woven with love and hope, surged forward, clashing against the creature's sinister hold. Join us, it reiterated, the voice now shrill and frantic, cracking beneath the weight of Marcus's defiance. I choose life. He declared, power radiating in every syllable. And then, a moment where everything felt aligned. With every ounce of his being, he ripped through the shadows, grasping for Zara's outstretched hand. But just inches apart, another darkness dragged at them, as if the universe itself were testing their resolve. The connection waned, leaving everything uncertain. Would he reach Zara in time? Would they emerge from the chaos together, or was this darkness too strong to overcome? In that split second of gripping suspense, the energy crackled around them, pulling them into an unyielding void. The chilling question lingered in the air: how far would each of them go to save or condemn the other? Marcus felt the tug of the abyss, a chilling weight pulling him under. The pit where Zara once stood had transformed into a swirling vortex of darkness, deep and suffocating. He reached with everything he had, fingers stretching, desperately trying to bridge the widening gap. Zara, hold on. He shouted, his voice echoing back, warped and distorted by the shadows. She was slipping. He could feel it. Her struggles grew faint, a whisper against the cacophony of torment that surrounded them both. The creature loomed closer, gloating in its victory. See how easy it is. It taunted, its features twisting like a marionette pulled by invisible strings. She means nothing in the face of your own truth. Shut up. The surge of rage ignited a fire in his chest, and he grasped the remnant memories of laughter and warmth with both hands. You hold no power over me. The light from his heart pulsed brighter, weaving through the air like a firefly in the dark, illuminating monstrous shadows that swirled and lunged, trying to engulf him once more. He could almost feel Zara's warmth slipping away, and with it, the last thread of hope. Marcus. The sound of her voice pierced through the chaos, grounding him. It was faint, but strong enough to guide him. He wasn't alone. He couldn't be. One more leap, just a little further. He concentrated on their shared moments, sunlit afternoons, late-night talks that lingered, dreams they had woven together. Each memory summoned more light, burning away the suffocating darkness. One by one, the twisted faces within the shadows, their fears and regrets faded in his wake. Zara, I'm here. His voice took on a new power, a plea infused with purpose. I will never lose you. With a final, determined eruption of light from within him, he lunged forward, straining against the shadows clawing at his ankles. The air crackled with energy, holding both risk and promise. For a moment, it seemed the violent darkness might tear him apart, yet he pressed on, knowing this was the moment of choice. Then, amid the swirling chaos, he felt something solid. Zara's hand grasped his, a fierce connection that sent shockwaves of energy surging through them both. Her grip was cool, but the fire between them ignited warmth, a bond unbreakable, forged through love and faith. But just as hope surged, the portal yawned wider, a final test of their resolve. The shadow creature's voice grew desperate, pleading with urgency. Let her go. You're fighting against yourself. You can't win. No. Marcus roared, defiance rushing through him. We create our own path. Light enveloped them both, amplifying their connection, and the shadows around them recoiled, shrieking in agony. But the chasm remained, unyielding and dark, threatening to pull them apart. Do you trust me? She whispered, her eyes fierce despite the exhaustion etched into her features. Always, he replied, heart racing. With a synchronized breath, they surged forward, determined to pull each other from the brink. Together, they defied the darkness. As they grasped each other's hands tightly, a blinding flash erupted, and the shadows dissipated in a thunderous roar, casting them into blinding light. Just as quickly, the ground vanished from beneath them, sending them tumbling into a vast unknown. Then there was silence, heavy and thick, the world around them eerily still. All they had was each other and the uncertainty of where they had landed. Was this freedom from darkness? Or a new nightmare waiting to unfold? The suspense hung like a thick fog, as chilling questions loomed. Were they truly out of danger, or had they unwittingly stepped into a much darker realm? What would they face next, together or apart? Marcus blinked, trying to make sense of the blinding light that enveloped them. It felt like they had fallen through a curtain into another world, but this one was eerily quiet. Slowly, the brightness began to fade, revealing a vibrant expanse around them. They were standing on a vast plain, a landscape painted in shades of purples and blues. Strange, luminescent plants sprouted from the ground, casting an ethereal glow in the twilight-like atmosphere. Yet despite the beauty, something felt off. The silence was deafening, as if the very air held its breath. Where are we? Zara asked, her voice quivered with a mix of awe and trepidation. Not sure, Marcus replied, glancing around. He could feel the weight of uncertainty pressing down on him, his heart pounding in his chest. But it feels wrong. A low hum resonated through the air, vibrating against their skin. Marcus's instincts screamed at him. They had to move, to find solid ground where shadows couldn't weave around them like velvet threads. As they cautiously stepped forward, the ground trembled slightly beneath their feet. Stay close, Marcus urged, linking his fingers with hers. They wove through the glow of the pulsating flora, an unspoken understanding guiding them. Then, a figure emerged from the distance, ill-defined and shifting like smoke. It drifted closer, coalescing into a shadowy shape that stood before them. Though its form appeared humanoid, the absence of detail made it feel more abstract, more unsettling. Welcome, travelers, it rasped, its voice echoing around them like a soft wind. You've crossed the threshold. What do you want? Marcus asked, his body tensing. To his surprise, the creature chuckled softly, a sound that felt like tiny shards of ice tapping against his skin. It's not what I want, but what you need to confront. You've escaped one abyss only to face another. Zara squeezed Marcus's hand tighter, her unease radiating off her like heat. Confront? What do you mean? Your shadows have followed you, the creature said, gesturing with an arm that seemed to dissolve into the air. Here, in this realm, your fears take form. You will need to face them, or they will consume you both. Is this some kind of trick? Marcus barked, anger flaring. We've fought too hard to be toyed with again. Hardship reveals truth, dear boy, it replied. Journeying inward is the only path to freedom. Just then, the ground split open a few yards away, and from the fissure, a series of dark figures crawled upward. They were grotesque caricatures of the fears Marcus had faced, the self-doubt, guilt, and sorrow he thought he had left behind. Each one slithered toward them, clawing towards the light, relentless and insatiable. Zara! Marcus shouted, instinctively stepping back, but she was already moving forward, fear replaced by fierce determination. We can't let them take us. The dark figures surged, their whispers taunting, wrapping oppression around his mind like barbed wire. Marcus's heart raced, panic seizing him. He remembered their shared moments, their battles fought against the shadows before. "Remember who we are," he yelled, voice cracking through the noise. "Remember the light we conjured." But the shadows loomed ever closer, slinking around Zara, whispering lies that clawed at her resolve. "You cannot escape," they hissed. "You are defined by your failures." "No." Zara's cry pierced through the suffocating darkness, igniting a flash of light between them. Her gaze locked with Marcus's, and in that moment, the strength of their connection sparked. They were two against the tide. Together. They shouted as one, arms reaching toward each other. And just as they locked hands again, the abyss around them rumbled, darkness swirling with furious intent. What would the shadows reveal? What would they have to face together? The surge of uncertainty consumed them, the dark figures closing in as a twisted chorus echoed, underscoring their impending confrontation. Would the bond they had forged be strong enough to withstand the darkest trials yet to come? The moment their hands connected, a shockwave rippled through the air. It felt like lightning coursing between them, igniting a fire that pushed back against the darkness. Despite the terrifying figures inching closer, Marcus felt a surge of hope. It was as if their light awakened something primal. The air thickened, pulsating with intensity. "Hold on!" Marcus yelled over the cacophony of whispers. As he and Zara stood united, bracing themselves against the impending storm of their fears, the shadows hesitated, squirming like worms in the light, but that moment of reprieve was fleeting. With a deafening crack, the ground split further, a chasm opening wide. The dark figures paused, then howled in unison, their voices spiraling into a haunting lullaby of despair. The ground trembled ominously beneath them, swallowing the vibrant purples and blues as a consuming darkness crawled in. "Marcus!" Zara's face was etched with determination, but her eyes glimmered with fear. "Do you think we can fight them?" Marcus could feel the weight of his past pushing down on him like an anchor, threatening to drag him into the depths of despair. "We have to try. We can't let them pull us under." He took a step forward, pulling Zara with him. The shadows recoiled as if stung, hesitant against the powerful glow emanating from their joined hands. It was a rush of adrenaline that surged through them both, igniting every impulse to fight back. "Confront it, Marcus!" Zara shouted. "Confront your guilt." Guilt. An abyss that clawed at his insides like a beast hungry for a fragile heart. Memories surged forward, a whispered promise, a face burned into his mind. Could he really face this monster? Was he strong enough? He drew another breath, envisioning what lay behind him, his choices, his wrongs. There was a croak of emotion lodged in his throat, but it transformed into resolve. "I'm sorry." He yelled into the darkness. "I'm sorry for everything." As the words left his lips, the shadows recoiled as if struck. Attitudes of cruelty shifted, shrinking back from the brightness emanating from Zara and Marcus. "Apologizing won't save you." One of the darker figures jeered, its voice dripping with cruel amusement. "You're still the same coward you've always been." "No, I'm not." Marcus shouted defiantly. "I've changed." With each assertion, the shadows shrieked, their forms wavering. Zara squeezed his hand tighter, their strength ironclad. She took a step forward, an ember of bravery lighting her spirit. "We must confront our deepest fears together." One by one, they confronted their shadows, sharing secrets and regrets aloud. "I was afraid I wasn't enough," Zara admitted, her voice trembling. "But I know now that I am enough." "I regret losing you," Marcus said, feeling the heat of tears behind his eyes, pouring forth the honesty that was so long kept buried. "But I've learned to be better, to fight for us." Each declaration was like a sword against the shadows, severing their grip. Slowly, the grotesque figures began to dissolve, shrieking in fury as the strength of their fears weakened in the presence of vulnerability, stitched together with love. But just as victory seemed within reach, a booming laughter echoed through the plains. It slithered around them, chilling the air. What you face now is just a whisper of what is to come. The real darkness is patient, lurking. The ground shifted beneath them again, and they stumbled forward, falling into a mist of overwhelming blackness. They had fought bravely against their fears, but this new darkness promised something deeper, something that lingered beneath all they had confronted. What awaited them in the depths of this shadow? Would they find the strength to face the real heart of their struggles, or would they be lost amidst its suffocating embrace? Marcus and Zara tumbled through the darkness, their hands gripping each other as if the bond alone could tether them to reality. The chilling air wrapped around them, thick like fog, pressing in from all sides. There was no sound, but the silence buzzed with an impending dread that felt almost sentient. Everything was an unrelenting void, and each heartbeat echoed louder than the last. "Keep your eyes open," Marcus urged, straining to pierce the shadows. His voice sounded raw, desperate. They fell through a disorienting emptiness, each second feeling like an eternity. And then, the world jerked back into focus. They landed on solid ground but were met by a grotesque landscape. A twisted version of their own memories stood before them, echoes of familiar scenes, warped and dark. "Is this our past?" Zara whispered, her voice shaking, the realization hitting them both like a slap. Phantoms swirled around them, shadows of people they knew and lost, loved ones with warped faces, incomplete smiles stretched into taunts, their eyes hollow. "Don't listen to them," Marcus shouted, trying to drown out the whispers. But the figures surged, relentless, each one echoing their deepest regrets. "Coward," one hissed, resembling Marcus's old friend, someone he lost to his choices. The old guilt crashed over him like a wave. "You abandoned us. You always ran away. I didn't know how to fight back," he yelled, holding Zara's hand tighter. "I'm here now. I'm not running anymore." With that declaration, a flicker of light erupted from their hands, illuminating the grotesque mirage of the past. The shadows let out a wail, a collective sound, a cacophony of pain and sorrow that clawed at their hearts. Zara took a deep breath, inspired by Marcus's strength. "You think we're weak?" Her voice rang out with newfound determination. "We didn't just survive, we learned, we grew. We've faced more than you can ever know." The shadows writhed in discomfort, some crumbling away as they wrestled with the truth they could not bear. But others pressed closer, more determined. "False hope is a cruel joke," another sneered, resembling Zara's estranged father, a figure she had long tried to forget. "You'll never escape your past, nor the fear that binds you." "Shut up," she shouted, a fierce blaze igniting in her chest. "I'm here to break the cycle. I'm not the scared girl I once was." With every flicker of light, shadows diminished, but a heaviness lingered. They were peeling layers of darkness, yet Marcus felt the weight of something more sinister pressing against them. Just then, a howl of anguish pierced the air, reverberating through the landscape. A thick, dark mist began to spiral around the edges of their little light, pulling back the dissipating shadows, revealing a larger, darker presence lurking beyond. "What is that?" Marcus gasped, his heart racing. They both turned to face a towering figure emerging from the depths, a silhouette cloaked in swirling darkness. Its presence exuded a potent mixture of malice and despair, and the shadows they had fought against seemed to bow before it. "Your little victories mean nothing," it hissed, voice smooth like silk yet dripping with malice. "I am the true heart of your fears." The ground trembled beneath them as they stepped back, eyes wide with terror. There was no denying it, this was the real test, the nightmare they had been warned about. "Together," he yelled, squeezing Zara's hand tighter. "We can face it. We've come this far." But even as hope surged, doubt crept in. "Can we?" Zara murmured, the terror reflected in her eyes. The figure sneered, darkness seeping forth in a tendril-like shape, reaching out towards them. And as it lunged, the air crackled with energy. A showdown was about to begin, one that would test every ounce of their being. But would they falter under the weight of the truth, or find the strength to reclaim not just their past but their future as well? The chilling climax loomed, and the outcome was unknown. The shadow surged forward, tendrils of darkness twisting and writhing like serpents hungry for prey. Panic clawed at Marcus's throat as he took an instinctive step back, his heart racing wildly. "Stay close!" he shouted, fear rushing through him. He could feel the warmth of Zara's hand slipping slightly from his grip, her resolve wavering under the dark figure's ominous gaze. The world around them darkened further, suffocating their light. "I won't let it take you," he declared, forcing the words through a pounding chest as visions of their past flickered like lightning in the storm of shadows. Each mistake, each regret screamed out, pushing against the walls of his mind. Zara let out a breath, her eyes fierce as she searched through the darkness. "We can't back down now, Marcus. We've come too far." Their shared determination ignited a surge of energy, rekindling the flicker of light between their hands. They faced the encroaching shadow, a rising storm of fear and darkness. With every ounce of willpower, they pushed against the darkness. "We are not who you say we are," Zara cried, her voice ringing out defiantly. "We are stronger than our fears." The shadow paused, rising up like gusts of wind trying to suffocate their light, yet faltering against their combined strength. With each pulse of energy, they projected their memories, moments of love, trust, and unwavering friendship. Memories that anchored them, lifting them like a beacon through the encroaching despair. The shadow recoiled, hissing, its form shifting as if it was unsure how to respond. "You think you can ignore the truth?" it rasped, a venomous sneer lacing the words. "You carry your failures like chains. They are your reality." The ground beneath them shook again, sending a tremor through Marcus's legs. "No!" he yelled, as memories flashed before his eyes, a friend lost to addiction, a family torn apart by secrets, an unfulfilled promise. Each one stabbed like a fresh wound. "It doesn't define us," Zara shouted back, her grip tightening on his hand. "What happened is part of our journey, not our destination." As she spoke, the light grew brighter, a radiance that pushed back against the darkness. It wasn't just the power of their memories, it was the conviction that they could rise above them. "Together!" Marcus shouted, his voice cutting through the air. They channeled every ounce of courage, pouring their fears into the light that grew between them. The shadow shrieked, the sound piercing like ice, as it thrashed in rage. It dissolved into wisps of smoke, recoiling momentarily against the onslaught of their united spirits. "Don't let it back in," Zara urged, her breath zoning in and out. Sweat trickled down her brow. Yet even as they pushed forward, Marcus felt the figure reforming, growing in strength. A storm within him rose, doubt beginning to seep back in. What if strength alone wasn't enough? What if their past continued to overwhelm them? Marcus, Zara replied gently, sensing his hesitation. "We knew there would be a fight. But look at what we've accomplished. We are stronger than our past." As they held on to that truth, the shadow, though formidable, began to falter. But just as it seemed they might achieve victory, a colossal figure surged behind the darkness, the core of their fears, the true embodiment of despair. "Pathetic!" it boomed, voice reverberating through the air, thunderous and dark. "You think you can conquer me? I am your destiny." Marcus's mind spun. Hope began to fade, terror tightening around him again. Could they face this next challenge? Zara's voice broke through his spiral of panic. "This is the moment, Marcus. We have to fight together. Together we create our destiny." It was time to fight back, to show that even if your past haunts you, your future can still be your own. But the looming figure quickly crescendoed, smothering their light and burying their shared hope under the weight of its presence. Would they find the strength within to face their ultimate fears, or was this darkness too powerful to conquer? The air crackled with danger and desperation, their future hanging precariously in the balance. A thunderous roar echoed through the depths of their confrontation, shaking the very ground beneath Marcus and Zara. The monstrous shadow towered over them like a dark god, dripping with malice, eyes glowing like embers poised to consume. Its voice rumbled through the air, chilling their resolve. You are nothing but the echoes of your failures. Marcus tightened his grip on Zara's hand. No, he shouted, every ounce of his defiance fueling him. We are so much more. They faced the looming menace together, fear and anguish twisting through their hearts. Memories flooded back in shards, laughter shared, tears shed, moments of courage in the light of desperation. A deep internal fire began to stir, igniting their intertwined hands. Together. They shouted in unison, as if performing an ancient ritual that summoned every drop of strength they had, kindling hope amidst this swirling chaos. The darkness recoiled but quickly reformed behind a veil of sneers and scorn. You dare believe you could overpower me? I am the very essence of your despair. It sneered, seeping closer, tendrils encircling their light. We choose to rise. Zara countered fiercely, her voice ringing like a battle cry. The courage radiating from her lit the shadows with fleeting warmth, pushing back the chill that clawed at their reality. We will not allow you to define our journey. With every word punctuated by memories, images of joyful moments and bittersweet lessons, the light brightened, engendering a vibrancy that shimmered against the abyss. We will face our pasts and forge our futures. Marcus echoed her sentiment, wielding his truth like a sword. The shadows lurched, balking at their boldness. Regret-using figures flickered at the edges of their consciousness, but each whispered taunt became less potent in the face of their joint conviction. One by one, memories peeled away, illuminating the truth. The threads binding them to the past weren't chains, but fabric of lessons learned, driving them toward reclamation. Reclaim your strength. Zara urged. Let go of what drags you down. I embrace what has shaped me. Marcus roared, channeling his combined turmoil into irrepressible fire. Each scar, each wound has made me who I am today. With that realization, the blinding light between them surged. They surged toward the monstrous shadow, thrusting forth the brightness that lay within as a shield against the encroaching dark. The vast figure became less intimidating, its features flickering as if it were a refraction struggling against the pulling light. Light erupted between them, forming a bridge that connected their minds and emotions. The shadow screamed in anguish, a cacophony of rage and hatred spiraling in the face of their innocence. Darker forms began to dissolve around them. You can't escape me. It hissed in a voice filled with venom. But their illumination was building, their unity transcending what had held them captive. Face it. Marcus spat. The darkness dwells only within if you allow it. You have no power here. Zara shouted, her voice a steady beacon, cutting through the illusion. We reclaim our pasts, our truths, our destinies. With a final surge, they thrust their light brilliant, unwavering directly into the core of the Shadow's being. The creature roared, fracturing into smoke and echoes that dissipated into the ether. For the first time, the air felt still, the suffocating weight lifted. As clarity returned, they found themselves back on solid ground, illuminated by the soft light of dawn breaking on the horizon. The landscape felt renewed, vibrant with colors, and filled with fresh possibilities. Zara turned to Marcus, her eyes shimmering with the afterglow of their battle. We did it, she whispered, disbelief mingling with joy. Marcus beamed as the warmth of the sun caressed their skin, a sweet reminder of new beginnings. No, we're doing it. We chose every step of this journey, and we have so much ahead of us. They stood hand in hand, embodiments of their resolution. Together, they echoed, not merely as a promise but as a shared conviction, the shadows of regret receded, transformed instead into the stepping stones of their past, their connections binding them closer. No longer weighed down by their histories, they walked forward, embracing the unknown together, and in that moment, they understood darkness could loom, but clarity and courage shone brighter, illuminating the path ahead. As they headed into the rising sun, a wave of quiet echoed behind them. The mansion, the shadows, everything they had fought against faded into memory. Their laughter burst forth, mingling with the morning breeze. This newfound strength, born from turmoil, promised a future rich with hope. With unyielding hearts and hands entwined, they marched toward a dawn colored with opportunity, forever changed yet delightfully unshackled by the truths they had faced. This was not merely an ending, it was the exhilarating beginning of a journey woven from their shared light, untainted by the shadows that once threatened to consume them. You need to subscribe now if you don't want to miss more incredible journeys and exclusive stories just like this. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm and help us grow this community. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about what happens next in this thrilling adventure, and don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Your support is invaluable, and only true fans understand that. Let us uplift this channel together.